Guys, we're back with our Burt Reynolds tribute on this half hour of the Screen Team, being joined by Brad as we showcase some of Burt Reynolds' most famous films, and we've already done Deliverance, and we're getting ready to do Boogie Nights. But before we get into Boogie Nights, Brad, do you have like your all-time favorites? Burt Reynolds, is there one above the rest that you're like, man, that's the one that's my go-to Burt Reynolds?
Yeah. So I think possibly the one that we're doing last.
So I should have saved this question. I should have saved this question. Lovely.
That's all right. Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, obviously, Smoking the Bandit is probably what he's best known as.
Mm-hmm.
With that film series, I guess. But obviously, the first one was fantastic. Not a great movie, but a very entertaining movie.
Yes, very much so.
So I would say probably the two are The Longest Yard and Smoking the Bandit.
Yeah,
for sure.
Mine is Cannonball Run, which is kind of like the Smoking the Bandit. It's not a very serious film.
No.
It's silly, but Burt Reynolds is. I remember my dad watching that, and he'd always just get such a big kick out of the movie's funny, but then you get to the end credits.
Yeah,
you've got all the
outtakes.
Him and Dom DeLuise just picking at each other, man.
Yeah, so he obviously did quite a few with Dom DeLuise and some good comedies. The End was really good, where he was playing. He thought he'd gotten a death sentence from the doctor. Turns out he didn't, or something. And it's been a while since I watched that one, but that's funny. And him and Dom DeLuise, it's just he made quite a few movies with him, and they were always funny.
So Burt Reynolds was huge in the 70s, huge in the 80s. He kind of got away from movies like in the late 80s, early 90s, did a lot of TV shows.
He went back to TV, obviously. Evening Shade, which was has ties to Poplar Bluff.
With Miss Bloodworth, didn't she?
Yep, she was the producer and creator of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I guess we're in the mid 90s right now, and Burt Reynolds is a thing of the past. But no, wait a second. He gets cast in the movie Boogie Nights, and he gets nominated for an Academy Award for this.
That's correct.
This film,
and, for Best Supporting Actor.
A lot of people thought he should have won that year.
Yeah, and I looked it up, and right now it's escaping me who actually won, but obviously another very well deserving actor. But so this is another great movie that he was in. And I find it a little tough to watch because I want to take a shower after I get done watching it. It's all about the pornographic film business in the late 70s going into the 1980s. So based in California, Burt Reynolds obviously plays one of the directors of pornographic or adult films, as he likes to say in the movie, and he frequents a strip club that one of my favorite character actors, Luis Guzman, he plays the chunky Mexican guy in a lot of movies, which he's fantastic in this movie and so many others. He's one of my favorite character actors, guys that pop up in a lot of movies. Anyways, he owns the strip club, and one of their busboys is Mark Wahlberg, who I don't remember his name, Eddie, or I can't remember the character name, but anyways,
I'll get it for you here in a second.
Yeah, runs into Burt. I know what he ends up being called.
I remember that name too.
Yeah, I remember that name. It's Eddie, I believe. And this is kind of where it gets where Burt Reynolds plays obviously the director, but he's kind of more of a pimp. It really, so he basically pursues Mark Wahlberg, and I believe this was probably Mark Wahlberg's first major film.
It was one that definitely kind of propelled him to that.
Absolutely, because before that he was, of course, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
That's right. Look at you, man. You got knowledge all over the place. I love it.
He was discovered, and Burt tries to put him in a couple movies, and he takes to it like a duck takes to water. And it's I guess it's loosely based on John Holmes. That's somebody very famous who actually, I think he died of AIDS. But obviously this was all before the whole AIDS epidemic. Drugs are very prevalent. Obviously a lot of drinking.
So, in your opinion, what is it about this role that makes it? What did Burt Reynolds do in this role that made it so iconic for him, or for the movie too?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think he just he fits the role very well. I think he's real.
Because usually when you watch the Oscars or something, they show clips, of these people who are nominated for Best Supporting Actor or Best Actor. And it's always some, just outrageous scene where they're showing this range of emotion. But with Burt in this particular role, it all seems kind of very steady line,
And that's a very good point. I think he, he could have gone over the top, and I don't think he ever did. I think he really just played it as real as he could.
Sure.
I mean, it really was. He just seemed so natural in that, and you believed him. It wasn't. I don't think it was any one scene. It was just that he just was so good at playing slimy. It really was. It's another. I mean, it's entertaining. It is a very entertaining movie. It's kind of, if you grew up in the 70s, if you ever watched That 70s Show, it's because it's got all the iconic 70 type, leisure suits and shag carpet and all that type stuff, and the just the real kind of icky 70s disco. Disco is very strong in this.
Very true. Very true.
Yep. A lot of great music in good disco music. The soundtrack was very popular.
Yeah.
So
Paul Thomas Anderson is the fellow who directed this film, and he's done a lot of other movies that have done well critically. Everything from There Will Be Blood. He also did the movie Phantom Thread and some other things that are kind of escaping my mind right now because I don't have IMDb in front of me because my phone is slow. But this is my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film, and it reminds me so much of a Quentin Tarantino film, just imagery and music. And if you can get past the subject matter, it's really a well made film. And it's a film that if you're a fan of the way movies are made, I think you'll be a fan of this film.
Absolutely. And you also have to mention the fantastic cast.
Oh my goodness.
Don Cheadle is in it. He plays one of the guys that's also wants to break away. He wants to be a I can't remember his character's name either, but he wants to.
I'm sure we can't say it on the
air. His dream is to become to own a stereo business where he sells hi-fi stereo at a rock bottom price.
Right.
William H. Macy plays Little Bill. Little Bill, who's
he's got issues with his wife.
John C. Reilly.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
You gotta,
Julianne Moore was
Talladega Nights. John C. Reilly.
Julianne Moore was nominated for an Academy Award for her performance.
And Heather Graham as Roller Girl. Another iconic. But I just wanted to mention all those. I mean, just a great cast.
The late Philip Seymour Hoffman's in this as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Boogie Nights, great cast, great film, some touchy subject matter for sure. It's definitely a strong rated R movie, so definitely keep that in mind if you want to peruse it. And, of course, Burt Reynolds, top-notch in it as well.
Absolutely.
We're going to review Brad's favorite Burt Reynolds film, The Longest Yard. We'll do that next on The Screen Team.